We finished up our visit at Pukaskwa National Park, and we saw several 5 or 6 Arctic disjunct plants. Today is Saturday, June 11, and we're headed off to White River. Then we'll head north from White River towards Hornepayne, and we'll see if we get to a provincial park just north of Hornepayne. The visit here at Pukaskwa was fabulous. We originally came for 2 days, and we ended up staying for 4 or 5. 5, I think. This is the 5th day. It truly is a remarkable place to visit. If you haven't been to Pukaskwa National Park, you should make the effort and perhaps enjoy because of its rugged scenery, and also because of if you're into flowers, botany. It's quite an amazing place just from the geobotany perspective. So we'll be hitting the road soon, and enjoy your day. Looks like it's a little cool this morning here, but mostly sunny. So next stop will be White River, where we will visit with Winnie the Pooh. So we'll see you there. Bye bye. Unlike some of my previous videos, this is essentially a travel video. We leave Pukaskwa National Park on the north shore of Lake Superior and start our trek north to geobotanize in the area close to the Nagagami and Abitibi River areas. Also, I don't have a geobotanical discussion along the way. Instead, before we arrive in Nagagamisis Provincial Park, we visit the home of Winnie the Pooh, which is in White River, and then the geographic center of Ontario in Hornepayne. Exciting. The rest of the video gives you a brief overview of the facilities at Nagagamisis Provincial Park. Enjoy! White River is known for many things, but one is the Winnie the Pooh roadside monument. You might be familiar with the children's books written by author A.A. Milne for his son Christopher Robin. The books are based on the real-life story of an orphan black bear named Winnie, or eventually Winnie the Pooh. Lieutenant Harry Colburn had enlisted in the Fort Garry Horse Regiment, based in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. The Fort Garry Horse Regiment, including Lieutenant Colburn, was on its way by rail from Winnipeg to serve overseas. Their train stopped at the railroad station in White River, where Lieutenant Colburn saw and bought an orphaned black bear cub. He named her Winnie after his adopted hometown of Winnipeg and took her with them to England. Winnie became the unofficial mascot of the Fort Garry Horse Regiment. Before Lieutenant Colburn went into battle, he arranged to have Winnie stay at the London Zoo. That is where Christopher Robin, son of A.A. Milne, met and became enamored with Winnie. A.A. Milne wrote several books that featured Winnie, his son Christopher Robin, and Kanga, Eeyore, Piglet, and Tigger. And, as they say, the rest is history. I'll add a link to the video description if you want to read more about this touching story about the special relationship between a military veterinarian and an orphan black bear. If you have a chance to pass through White River, the story is told on display panels surrounding the Winnie the Pooh Memorial in the park beside Highway 17. And don't forget to visit the railroad station in White River downtown, where you see other wall murals related to the Winnie the Pooh history. After visiting the Winnie the Pooh monument and buying groceries, we left White River and headed north along Highway 631 towards Hornepayne. About an hour and a half later, we arrived at the town of Hornepayne. Highway 631 runs through Hornepayne and connects it to Highway 11 in the north and Highway 17 at White River to the south. Both Highways 11 and 17 are part of the Trans-Canada Highway system. Hornepayne serves as a railway divisional point on the main Canadian National Line. The forest industry is the major employer in the local area. Hornepayne is also the geographic center of Ontario. Well, the actual center is located about 8 kilometers to the northwest, but the town of Hornepayne is close enough to claim the fame as the center of Ontario. After leaving Hornepayne, we continued north to Nagagamisis Provincial Park, which was our destination for the next couple of days. campground at Nagagamisis Lake Provincial Park is located on the south side of Nagagamisis Lake. I understand the fishing is good, although we did not try. We were at the park on June 11 and June 12, so there were very few, if any, short-term campers. There were quite a few seasonal campsites where travel trailers were already set up. As of June 11, 2022, the park does not offer electrical sites. In that regard, I was amazed by the number of seasonal trailers that were equipped with solar panels. I assume that was to trickle charge the batteries in the trailers in the absence of shore power. In our travels across Canada, I don't recall seeing as many seasonal trailers using solar power. That is excellent. One of the large campsites at Nagagamisis Provincial Park. None of these are serviced with electrical or water. They're lovely open sites with privacy between. This is Site 59 on the lakeshore side. Lots of little trails going from the campground back to the lake. And the pathway down to the lake, Nagagamisis Lake. The water's pretty high. A lot of the steps are getting wet. And here's the comfort station with toilets, showers, laundromat, two washers, two dryers, and a place for garbage, both propane cans and recycled cans, as well as non-recyclable garbage. And here's the kids' playground. Lots of slides and climbing area. With a set of swings. Some sort of tether ball. Little beach with a nice swing chair. Overlooking the lake. So this is the boat launch area with beach volleyball court, pit toilets, trailhead, and a dock where the boats get launched, I guess. There are canoe and kayak rentals, paddleboard rentals available. Even paddle boats. I think this is called Park Lake, and it's the water source for the park, so there's no motorboats allowed. So here's our site, Site 41, Nagagamisis Provincial Park. The last night here. Interesting stay. Saw 3 different orchid types. and a range of early flowering boreal forest plants. Well, dinner time at Nagagamisis Lake. It's a cold north wind today. And I know you're curious what dinner it is. And it is a superbly appetizing mixture of canned mixed vegetables and beef ravioli. Scrumptious. So here we are at the start of the Shaganash Trail. Nagagamisis Provincial Park lies in the boreal forest, and although we visited the park on June 11 and June 12 of 2022, which is summer in more southern parts of Ontario, in this area it was late spring to very early summer from a floristic perspective, given the northern location of the park. Therefore, it was not surprising to see 3 wild orchids in bloom. The 3 orchid species I saw were northern coral root, striped coral root, and pink lady slipper. Now, I had a tough time pronouncing the name of the park, so I won't even try to pronounce the scientific names of the orchids. I'll add those names in text form. But it is always a treat to see these orchids in bloom. So in this video, we left Pukaskwa National Park, visited the Winnie the Pooh Monument in White River, stopped very close to the geographic center of Ontario at Hornepayne, and got to enjoy the wild orchids in the boreal forest at Nagagamisis Provincial Park. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please subscribe and like if you feel inclined. See you in the next video when we are a little further to the north.